Welcome to the Emerging Technologies Roundtable. I'm joined today by Steve Dertine, EVP and Chief Technology Officer, and Catherine Kinnicker, or CK, our Chief Strategy and Sustainability Officer, to talk about software as a service, PTC's Plus strategy, the benefits that you can expect from moving to the cloud, and what that journey actually looks like. Steve, CK, welcome.
Thank you, Kevin.
Thanks, Kevin.
So first, let's talk about the difference between a SaaS customer experience and an on-premises customer experience. CK, maybe you can kick us off.
Sure. There's a lot of benefits of moving to the cloud in general and with SaaS, from the improved collaboration, from the ability to scale and scale securely. But maybe some of the really important benefits are always being on the same version. So no more of this costly upgrade process that people avoid doing because of the cost and time that it takes. Also, I would say maybe another fundamental is the frictionless ability to expand, whether it's expand users or expand new application modules. That all just becomes so much easier in a SaaS environment. And then, as I think about the journey that we're on, it's not just the one application, it's the integration across our portfolio and thinking about it from a digital thread perspective. So that really nice integration across the portfolio. So all of that from a customer perspective, really seamless, ease of use, and scalable, and turn on, turn off.
Yeah, that other thing just to add there is just managing the compatibility between versions of our software is another one there. Yeah. But Steve, can you just talk a little bit about PTC's overall Plus strategy, let's say even beyond Windchill here?
Yeah, so certainly Windchill is the big cornerstone that we'll talk a lot about today, but in terms of Creo and new use cases. So for example, much like our kids have in school and being able to collaborate in a multi-user sort of way, that's an expectation now of most software that's out there. So if we look at the processes that many of our customers follow, they still may have some inefficiencies in how they send data and collaborate with their supply chain, kind of throw it over the fence, if you will. And in SaaS, one of the things that we can do is understand, all the users that are coming, invite new participants that we otherwise might not be able to invite in our corporate environment that we have it deployed in. And have them participate, whether it's with Creo or on the factory floor with our use cases in augmented reality and shop floor instructions to the frontline worker. So one of the SaaS type experiences is, how can we identify every user and provide software to them instantaneously as your business needs change, as you want to enable more functionality and so forth.
Steve, while you were talking, I was thinking, one of the things that I think we've seen some companies do, which is when they say, hey, we're going to SaaSify an application, they're actually rewriting the application and creating some problems. Can you talk about our strategy there?
Yeah, so first and foremost, we want to keep everybody whole. So, and what I mean by that is when you come on to Plus, to Windchill Plus, Creo Plus, and so forth, is 100% compatibility with all of the functionality that you have, whether it's in the workflows, the change management process you have, bill of material capabilities, everything is 100% exactly, as it was in Windchill. I'll even go so far as to say it really is the same code base. We're investing in the same product for customers that are not on the SaaS journey. So the products that you're currently using today will still get all the same investments. We'll just have more capability on the SaaS side that we won't be providing in on-premises capabilities. So for example, multi-user collaboration that you'll see in some of the products that we have coming out is a SaaS exclusive sort of feature, if you will. But otherwise, everything that we're doing in SaaS is to operate at tremendous scale and security, to CK's point. As we talk about sustainability too, for us, operating it more like electricity, on demand, scaling up what we need when we need it, and turning it down when we don't. So it's more cost effective for customers and for us, better for our cloud spend in general. And on the security side, doing a lot of extra work in SaaS. So while I would say same code base, we are going to ask some customers to make a few changes because we want to operate more securely across those versions. So for example, integrating to your ERP system is going to be ever so slightly different because we're going to basically be a SaaS solution working inside of an enterprise that has security demands. Whether you're a customer that has extra regulatory needs, we'll also have to kind of comply with those as well, whether you're in aerospace and defense customers or otherwise. So.
One other thing that I would add to everything that Steve said is all our customers are at different points in either their current deployments or their journey to the cloud, and we will work with customers depending on where they are in that journey. And partners alike. So very flexible in terms of the timing. Over time, the Plus offerings will get more and more feature rich, and you will want to move, but there isn't a demand to move.
Yeah, we're not going to force anybody.
We're not going to force anybody.
I mean, to that, both of you use the word journey, and the interesting thing is the objective here is folks that are on premises today, they can end up in Windchill Plus and Creo Plus and integrated with the rest of the suite. So CK, can you just talk a little bit about that journey, and then also, if you don't mind, at the same time, talk about how our partners may participate in that journey, because we've got some scale when you consider our customer base that will probably be moving to Windchill Plus.
Absolutely. I think Tomas earlier today talked about a 3-step process that we're taking customers through, where we assess where they are, we convert, and then we upgrade and land them in our SaaS offering. To do that, and to do that across thousands of customers requires scale, as you said. On June 1st, we closed our transaction with what has now become DXP Services, which is a dedicated subsidiary of ITC, that has over 160 professional services resources from PTC have joined to form this new business unit, completely dedicated to this process and to implementing this process. So they're co-designing with us, PTC, the tooling, the methodology, so that this becomes a very repeatable process for our customers, and we can do it at scale. And we really thought long and hard about that in terms of making it as easy and as pain-free as possible for our customers. Now, that said, so that's a very specific partnership around that. We've been using the colloquialism lift and shift or SaaS conversion, but there's a lot to do across our partner ecosystem. For some partners, there's some decustomization that could be being done today for your customers, and for others, post landing in the cloud, there's a lot of add-ons, et cetera. And maybe, Steve, you could talk about how we're thinking about making it accessible to other partners to actually add to the functionality, et cetera, in a SaaS world.
Yeah, so CK, in the greatest extent, one of the things that we're doing when we operate as SaaS is, for example, there's no notion of downtime when we do upgrades. And every customer's on the latest release. And that's easy to say. It's very difficult to implement. In fact, many customers on-prem probably can't even satisfy that because it's the bar is so high. But for us, we don't really have a weekend where our customers are not working, right? Their factories are always working. And so for our partners, one of the things that we need them to certainly help with is we're going to give tooling to customers and partners alike to kind of evaluate what the customizations are that they may have. And they range from very, very mild to incredibly wild in some cases. And so for those customers that have some pretty extreme modifications to Windchill, and I'm talking like modifying down at the database level and things that we, for the most part, don't really encourage anymore. We can do most of that out of the box. That we would ask you to help guide a customer through what the process would be to put you back on a more mainline use of Windchill, for example.
Yeah. Just to interrupt there for a second, Steve. I mean, you said process, and honestly, there's two levels. One is if you're going to retire customizations, there's some process and methods change. Okay, check. That has to be done. But in another way, I mean, people are, implementing PLM as a means to an end, changing the way you do your Creo practices as a means to an end, using IoT as a means to an end, and likewise AR. And so there's a bigger digital transformation story that partners are participating in as well, that's along with all of the mechanics of moving from an on-premises solution to a SaaS solution.
Yeah, and I think over time what happens is we're not looking at the technical specifics of how this customization worked or how this workflow worked, but really enabling more transformative processes inside the company. In fact, that's where a lot of new value creation is going to come from, not from maintaining what you currently have, but from expanding into areas that you otherwise might have passed by because the ROI wasn't there to get through that first initial upgrade. Certainly doing all of this makes it easier so the customers can stay on those latest releases, and we could continue to deliver incredible value to you in any particular product combination that you're using.
Yeah, maybe one last thing, if and CK, you talked about it, that said, hey, we'll be ready for you when you're ready for us. And so what's a good time for someone to say, okay, this is a time for me to figure out whether I ought to go now or later?
Well, one key marker is if you were already ready for an upgrade, like let's stop, pause, and see if this is your final upgrade to the cloud. That would be one good marker. I mean, there may be others that you want to share.
Yeah, I mean, as you look at your plans over the next year or two, everybody has a 2-3 year roadmap of the various different tactics that you're going to take with our software or other softwares that you're doing internally, whether it's your SAP migration and what do we do around bill of material management, for example. Might be a good moment to kind of pause and say, what would we do different in our process that we're currently not enabling? And that would give you another, kind of foundational aspect to kind of decide when the time is right for you.
Yeah, and maybe one last comment on that. One of the tools that we will have is like this assessment tool to actually assess where are you relative to how easy is it to upgrade to the cloud. So that might be something that we want to get engaged with you as a customer sooner rather than later.
Yeah, I think that's an excellent idea. It's probably not a bad idea, even if you want to do it on premises, just to clean up your implementation. So, all right, that feels like a pretty good spot to wrap it up. We talked about kind of PTC strategy and the SaaS customer experience and, let's say, upward compatibility to the cloud. We talked about everybody taking their own path, their own time when they want to kind of get on top of that value. We talked about our partner strategy in DXP, which is going to help us scale and help our customers go through, let's say, a repeatable journey to the cloud. And then, we finished on a couple of good points in your normal rhythm, let's say, to think about doing Windchill Plus conversion. So, Steve, thank you. CK, thank you. And thank you to everybody for joining us for this short conversation.